Hey guys, it's Steve Giordano. I'm actually going to give you a persuasive speech of who is considered the most elite branch of service. Is it the Army? Is it the Air Force? Is it the Navy? The Coast Guard? No, it's the United States Marine Corps. And I'm going to tell you why exactly that is. It's because of the training that they're given straight from boot camp all the way down to their specialty training. It's the different mission capabilities that they actually are capable of doing that no other branches are capable of doing, and the transition out of service and the type of employment that you're able to get when you come out through the Marine Corps. So let's start with training. The reason why the Marine Corps is considered the most elite branch of service is straight out the gate is when you first step into boot camp. There's a big training difference. For one, the Navy is considered boot camp is considered to be 7 to 9 weeks. Coast Guard, roughly around 8 weeks. Air Force, 8.5 weeks. Our Army is 10 weeks, but the Marine Corps is a hard 12 weeks long. I mean that's 3 months of vigorous training that doesn't stop from beginning to end. Now I'm not saying that the other uh, branches do not have a vigorous training, but the longer the training, of course, the more mentally it gets to you, the more physically it's going to get to you. You're going to get tired longer um, in comparison to the other branches. So on military.com actually states that Marine Corps has 12 weeks rather than other branches that have the other according weeks. Just another thing that's very different is their specialty training. Now, all Marines go to the School of Infantry. Why? Because all Marines are considered riflemen first. Yes, we're going to have engineers, we're going to have electricians, we're going to have pilots, we're going to have all different kind of Marines that have different specialty jobs. But your first specialty job is always being an infantryman first. So you are sent to the School of Infantry even if you're not an infantryman specialty. Now, infantryman specialty go to the schools of infantry for more vigorous training, while other specialties such as an electrician or a generator mechanic goes to the school of infantry with a little minute difference in learning um, fire fire contact, maneuverabilities, different weapon systems, 240s Golf, 249 Saw, the 50 caliber machine gun, etc. So this is something that's given to all Marines, whereas other branches, they're not given the opportunity to go to the School of Infantry. Once they finish their boot camp, they go straight to their tech school. We don't do that as Marines. As Marines, we go to boot camp, we go to the School of Infantry, then we go to our tech school because a Marine is always infantryman first. So another thing that really makes the Marines different is our mission capabilities. So while you do see Coast Guard, you have the Army Reserve, um, the National Guard have do humanitarian missions. We also have Marines that do humanitarian missions as well. Now, not all branches do humanitarian missions. I can say this because depending on where you're located and depending where the situation is, only depends will depend on whether that branch can actually be there. Whereas Marines, we have our own aircrafts, we have our own helicopters, we have our own tanks, we have our own everything because we are considered a land, air, sea branch. So we have the capability of going to anywhere at any time in the snap of the president's you know hand. So the Air Force can't do this because they specialize in the air. The Navy can't do this because they specialize in sea operations. And the Army can't do this because they specialize in ground operations. The Marine Corps specializes in all three operations. So the Army do not have airplanes. They have helicopters. The Air Force do not have helicopters and tanks. They just have airplanes. The Navy do not have tanks and infantry. capabilities with ships, and they have airplanes. But the Marine Corps has all of them. So this is without a doubt proof showing that the United States Marine Corps is an elite branch if they're able to do all three while the others cannot. Another thing that's different is the Marines are called to do embassy guard duties. Marines are the ones that guard the embassies, not other branches. Other branches do not have the privilege of doing this kind of duty. When you are a Marine and you come up in the ranks, you are able to go on special duty called Marine Security Guard. The Marine Security Guard is able to go around the world and guard these embassies as if they're part of our United States ground. So this also is another example why we're also considered an elite branch. I mean, why would you just call on the Marines when you have other branches available to do this duty? Because they're not elite. So that's one of the reasons. Another thing that's really, really different when you're coming out the Marine Corps, like I did, is the transition out of service. Now, I don't like to take anything away from our other services, but we're talking about the elite. So I have to really emphasize that when it comes to leadership, when it comes to being in stressful conditions, when it's time to make a decision, you know that a Marine can handle those things easily. They've been in very, very, very slick situations where they have to make decisions right away because that's part of our training. We know how to lead large groups of people with very little oversight because we have to. The Marine Corps is roughly around 180,000 in population active duty right now. That's very few people. And when you're having the ability to lead big groups but they're in small numbers, the leadership is without a doubt something that the Marines hold dearly to their hearts because there's only a few of us. And when you make a name for yourself, your name is able to travel around the Marine Corps because it's a small elite force. So when they see that, oh, we have a Staff Sergeant Giordano, which is me, coming into our unit, oh yeah, we know who that is. You know why? Because of the leadership styles that we have and the small branch that we have allow us to build names in our small branch. And this allows us to have job opportunities coming out because when we're able to get out the Marine Corps, we're still able to work for the government. And as you build this name while you're in, and you're able to take that name with you as a G5 or G7, which is a government ranking official, and work for the government just based on the fact that you're working in the Marine Corps and you who you were, and that's something that you can't get in a larger branch. I mean, the Army is about 500,000. The Navy is about roughly 150,000 to 250, depending on time. And then you also have the National Guard, which is another 200,000. I mean, this is something that's very, very different than the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps is always the least amount of numbers, the smallest branch. We are under the branch of the Navy, but we also consider our own branch, so it's kind of funny about that. And since our tax dollars are so little, we are considered the branch that gets the leftovers. But it's okay because we still make more and do more with less. That concludes my presentation. If you guys have any questions or any comments that you guys would like to ask me, please do so. But just remember that the United States Marine Corps is the most elite branch, and that's why we're called few. That's why we're so proud, and that's why we're Marines.